couple of quick ones. Always looking for something. If you put glue on a piece of cardboard, soaks into the cardboard. You put it on a piece of wood, soaks into the wood. What I've tended to find is the tops off of a small ice cream cup works great. Use epoxy or wood glue. I tend to find that the vanilla ones work a whole lot better than chocolate ones. Yeah, well, I have to learn to pace myself. Another one, sanding. I've used a sanding bow. So it's just a piece of 2x4 cut in an arc, got a kerf in there, stick sandpaper in there, roll it around, staple it on the backside, and you can especially on a bowl, you get a nice smooth surface. You don't get a lot of ridges in there. And I've got one of these made up for all the various grits that I go through. It's cheap. My wife has been on to me about using my mask. And Trend makes a nice mask that's got the airflow system through there. But the problem is that battery doesn't last for. And if you go to buy a spare battery to keep one charged all the time, those are very expensive batteries. And so what I've found is you can use a portable battery that you use for I can go 2 days before I'd have to recharge that. And then I keep it tucked in under my shirt, in my concealed carry holster, so I feel safe and secure as I'm turning. And then, it attaches to the helmet, with the standard USB cable. So stay safely, get the dust out of your face. It's just a nice, smooth, steady stream of air. Yes, sir. I bought it off of on Amazon. It's called Pocket Juice, and it's just a small backup battery for a computer that works very well with this fan on this helmet. Yeah, and I found that I'm more prone to use it if the fan is on, because if the fan's not running, it just gets fogged up inside. I'll take it, set it aside, no problem. There to speak. Last but not least, I like to do a lot of things with Bodark, and Bodark is hard, but it's prone to a lot of wind checks. Turn your blanks, end up with a bunch of cracks and stuff like that. But I found that you can fill them with West System epoxies, a little bit of dye. The one I use is a slow set epoxy, so it's very thin, and fill it into the crack. The problem is, if you've got a crack on the top, it runs down the side. So I just take brown paper. I put glue on the side of the blank, regular wood glue. Glue the brown paper along the side to dam up the top. And when it dries, the epoxy won't run through the paper. Fill it from the top. Make sure that you've got a full fill of epoxy through the blank. Get ready to turn it.
Show you how to make them. First thing, how many of you turn green wood? A lot of you. How many of you have ever put a piece in the lathe, got it about half finished, and you got called away from the lathe and you just left it and came back the next day and it had big cracks in it? Happened. Okay. Well, if you'll take that piece off of the lathe, if you dry with alcohol like we do, you throw it in the bucket of alcohol, come back the next day and it's fine. If you don't dry with alcohol, throw it in a bucket of water. It'll do the same thing. You'll come back the next day and it won't be cracked. Okay? Just a tip. Okay. How many of you got a shop vac? Got a question? Huh? Yeah. But you can take it out of the water and dry it off, and then later put it back in the lathe and go back to work. But it won't have any cracks. How many of you got a shop vac? I ran off without the one I wanted to show you, but you've all got a head like this. Mine's a lot bigger. And they've got little feet on them, but when you rub them around on the concrete a lot, those feet finally wear off. So when that happens, every time you try to use it, it sticks to the floor. So I took 2 little wheels about that big, plastic wheels, and made some blocks and put those wheels on either side of my fixture like this. So now it rolls on those wheels. It's always got clearance about that much underneath it. Will not stick to the floor and works fine. Okay. How many of you make pens? Have you got the new pen mandrel with it slips up over the mandrel? Well, if you don't have one of those and you have one of these, a 7mm bushing perfectly fits in the end. So you can knock the point out, stick a 7mm bushing in there, works. Saves you buying one. Some of you have seen this one, but I brought it back because some of you haven't. If you make finials and you need a way to support the finial, I made this device. It's on a live center. Put it in here. You turn the end of your finial first, the very tip. Once you get that turned and sand and bring this up, the tip of the finial fits right in there. You can turn a finial a foot long and not even have anything. So you want to see how I made it? It's just a piece of wood cut to fit this and glued on. The last thing, because Sam brought it up, and I wasn't going to do this one, but I'm going to do it now that he did. I have the same problem. I have an air shield also, and now that I have this, if anybody's interested in an air shield, I have one for sale. I've always looked for a shield that you could put a mask underneath. I mean, one of these masks, not just the cheapest. And I found this in the Packard catalog. And this shield, it's a very heavy shield, and it's very clear, very easy to see through. And you can put this is from Packard also. You can put this on, and it will fit under this shield without hitting the shield. So it solved my battery problem. I don't have to worry about that anymore. So, but mine does have 2 batteries if anybody's interested. Okay. I've got some other things if you run out of if you have time, but that's all I have right now. Okay? If anybody wants more info on these things.
Okay, I just have a very short one. When I make bowls, I like to make them with an OG sort of shape. This cove here is often hard to sand, nice sand. So here's one way to do it. You get a pool noodle, clip off the end, just put sandpaper around it. It fits in very nicely. So you can get the cove very nice. You try to do something flatter, I just can't get a good sand on it. Now, if you don't like to hold the sandpaper, you can cut this in half. Like this. Put it around. And then you can just use a couple of these clips, paper clip sort of things. And it's easier to do when people aren't watching you. And then you have the same thing, but paper's kind of stuck to the back. That's all I have.
Okay. I do a lot of spray finishing. Problem is always oak spray. So I came up with a very simple solution. Cheap box stand with about 20-inch cheap paper. What do you use? The cheapest filter you get, if you try to use like corrugated paper, it won't pull enough air. But it works real well. I've done one for probably 2 or 3 years before I had to replace it. It doesn't catch all of it, it catches an awful lot of it. The other thing that I've always had a problem with is dust collecting on my face shield. So I went back to the days when I used to reload ammunition. We had problems with gunpowder sticking to the plastic funnel. What we would do is we would dip the funnel in soapy water and let it air dry. Tried that on the face shield. It works on that too. It kills the static. It helps a whole lot. Thank you.
My first one I have, when I started doing hollow forms on my Powermatic lathe, yet it's not like a robust or a one-way where you can turn the switch off real easy. You have to reach around, if you're working on the end, reach around to the switch and turn it off. So I made a kill switch, and you can make it as simple or as complicated as you want. This is a similar one to what I have on my lathe. And you just go to the supply house, buy a deep weatherproof box. I ordered a switch on Amazon, just 2-wire system. It's a stop-start. And then for magnets, you can go to Harbor Freight and get a cheap magnet, or you can get a one of these. I got this from Inco and bolted it to the back where it has where you can clamp it onto your lathe. And even though the Powermatic has cast iron legs, it's strong enough that it'll hold on there. And I turn off the end, and if you can just bump it with your knee to turn it off if you want to turn it off. Powermatic sells them. I saw them on Amazon. I think they're about $110. And without the magnet, I don't have $25 in it. Magnet depends on how much you want to spend on the magnet. So it's really helpful. It's a safety feature I think that Powermatic ought to install on the base system. It is the new version. Okay, the old version, I got a 3520B. It does not have it. And on the wiring diagram in the Powermatic book, it shows you how to wire it. And before you go try it, if you have any questions, do like I did and call Powermatic, and they walked me through it. It's just exactly what I thought. So anyway, so that's a pretty inexpensive safety feature. You go inside, you turn the power off. You take, it's similar to this jet where you take the 2 nuts off here, pull it out, you clip 2 wires, and you use a wire nut to connect them to the 1 wire on the switch, one end of the switch, and the other one goes to where those 2 came from. But it's in the Powermatic wiring diagram. Before you do it on any lathe, check with the manufacturer to make sure that you can. but it worked on the Powermatic. I don't have enough light. I don't care where I'm working, I don't have enough light. And so I made something kind of versatile. You can hang it from a chain, you can lay it around. I got these at Northern Tool. They were half price, they're about $20 on sale. I went to Amazon, I believe it was, and bought the transformer. I probably have $30 or $35, most versatile light I have. It's pretty bright for the money. It's a pretty good little light. You can make it any way you want to, but parts were pretty inexpensive. Plug it in. So if you put it directly above your lathe, and that's kind of why these hooks are here, just jack chained, hanging above your lathe, and these are adjustable. You see they're adjustable. So I don't think I have $30 or $40 in it, but it's a pretty nice little versatile light. John was showing a while ago, John Beasley was showing his sled, and I've used wood runners on the bottom of a sled like he has, and then I went to the extreme of paying about $10 for a 36-inch piece of the UHMW, which is really, really nice. But when I was doing a remodeling project, I used a piece of plastic wood. It comes in 1x4 at Lowe's or Home Depot. I don't remember where I bought it. This just happened to be a cutoff. I ran it through the bandsaw. You could run it through a table saw and get a smoother cut. This fits perfect. Smooth, just glides right through there. Real expensive. 8 foot of it's 1x4 is less than $10, I think. So kind of a quickie, but if you make mini sleds or anything like that, you know, wood's fine. Just other ways of doing it. A number of years ago at Tips and Tricks, somebody brought something like this, and they used it for pounding their rocks. And so I made one, and it works pretty well. But Neil and I went to Woodturners in North Texas about a year ago, and they were grinding beads and doing it with beads. So I went home, bought my coffee grinder, went to Michael's, bought different beads, different colors, with the 40% off coupon. Plastic beads. Sorry, what did I say? Oh, plastic beads, okay. With 40% off coupon, they're about $2 or $3. You can have 8 or 10 colors. You can mix them. You can use the same solid colors. You use them for filling in little holes. It sands a whole lot better than your rocks do. And it's pretty inexpensive. Little coffee grinder. I think I had a coupon, got it at Bed Bath & Beyond for $20 or something like that. So you grind them up, well, then you got to have a way to sort them. So rather than buying the calibrated gizmos that they sell for astronomical amounts of money, I went to the dollar store and I got about $5 invested here. So I put at the bottom a little stainless steel dollar store dish, and I have 3 different sizes of grades. So you dump them out of your coffee grinder, and they're different size holes, and you shake them. And then you have 3 different sizes, plus your leftovers that didn't grind. You have 3 different sizes of beads. So then the next problem becomes storage. Well, I went to the doctor about 2 days later after I'd seen that first demo, and they did this at SWAT, if anybody was at SWAT, you know, so it's kind of a repeat for some of you. But I was in the doctor's office, and they handed me this bottle. You know the routine, so I said, I do. So after I was there, I thought, well, I got to have something to store these beads in I'm grinding up. I didn't go dumpster diving, don't get it wrong. But I looked online, and you can buy anything online. These are about $1/4 each. At Michael's, they had some about that big, and they were like 4 of them for like $8 or something. And these aren't the most durable, but I mark them fine, medium, and coarse, I think. And then the ones that didn't go through that still need to ground more, I stick in the 4th one. got a little basket. I can just stack them on the shelf. So kind of a nice way of filling in voids if you want to use plastic beads. Let's see if my... Excuse me? I don't have lab results, no. Good question, no. Let's see. At SWAT, I went to a demo by Al Hockenberry, and I think everybody in the room knew this trick but me when I went in there, and I was a little bit awed by it. It's pretty simple. If you don't have a proper indexing wheel, what he was showing people to do was you can use your tool rest, but something square works better. Drops in the tool rest. John Solberg's made bigger platforms, and they all work. I just happen to have some scraps laying around, and I made this. Had this aluminum laying around. So basically, you drop it in instead of your tool rest, and you got your between centers. And essentially, what you're doing is you're trying to draw a straight line across here. Flat pencils work better than round pencils because you got an even plane. So you do that. And then the trick that I thought was kind of interesting, and like I said, I think everybody knew it but me, was so if you want a three-sided turning is what he was doing, 3 and 4, I think. You get a piece of paper and you cut it the exact length starting at your mark and go all the way around. And when you fold it then in half and then in quarters, this is the 4-sided, then into quarters, then you put it back on there and you mark each of your points that you want. Then you go back to this gizmo and you draw your lines, and then you can use it for an indexing wheel. You can do that with, I don't know, any number you want, but it gets a little tedious bending and marking and everything. But if you don't have an indexing wheel, that is something that works. And I believe that's everything that I brought tonight.